We saw a picture go viral a few years ago with Ellen DeGeneres at the Grammys. No, it wasn't the Grammys. It was at the Oscars or something like that. And she took a picture, and it was shared over 75 million times. The reasoning was because they had all of these people that were somebodies in one picture. Selfies are selfies because usually selfies make you feel good or make you feel bad. The reason we post selfies is so we can get likes. If you don't get no likes, then you start feeling bad about yourself. You're like, no, you take it down. You didn't get no likes. You feeling yourself. You feeling your whole self in that picture. We know you were. You taking it like this. Why don't we take pictures like this? Why? Huh? It makes you skinny. But why? Because when we see you ain't skinty. Y'all like this. When you walk in, I'm like, who is you? I literally stopped taking pictures. Now, y'all don't stop taking pictures. Y'all ain't going to be taking pictures this week because y'all going to be like, Pastor Kim, look at that. I am not. I love me some filters. Look, I love me a baby doll filter that makes me look 12. I just love it. All right, I love it. But here's the point. When you've got to take a selfie with a filter because you don't like you is where the problem comes in. When you got to take a picture up here because you feel like you fat. And then when we see you, we like, you fat. You fat. Mimi is 74. She is so funny now. She will literally see somebody in public and say, is that same girl? Kim, is that girl that was online? She don't look nothing like. I'm like, Mimi. Inside voice, Mimi. She like, girl. If she died and they tried to claim her off her Facebook post, she gonna die. She is not the same person. I want to title this today, Identity Crisis. Say identity crisis. This whole series, you are not going to want to miss it because I'm going to give you clarity into who God created you to be. We're going to go back to who God say, I am chosen. I am called. I am special. I am VIP. Identity crisis is a period of uncertainty and confusion in which a person's sense of identity becomes insecure. Typically due to change in their expected aims or role in society. A lot of times, insecurity comes from you falling in love with the wrong person. You fall in love with the wrong person that fell in love with you because of them big hips, or fell in love with you because of that great personality, fell in love with you because of that anointing, fell in love with you because you were a whole package. But as soon as they fell in love with you, they realized you were too good for them. So when they realized that you were too good for them, then they took it upon themselves to begin to break you down and tell you who you weren't, because they knew if you knew who you were, you would get out from under them. So the enemy used them as a counterfeit into your life to dumb you down. They fell in love with you because of who you were. And then quickly, the very thing they fell in love with you for, they broke you down in that area because they knew you were too good for them. Because the enemy can't get to you, so he gets through them. Because when we allow people to come in our lives and fill a void of an insufficient area in our lives, that quickly area becomes more valuable to us than God. And in essence, we let a dog, God spelled backwards, a dog, become our God. You see what I did there, right? And then you get two broken individuals bleeding on each other, and you trauma bond, and then y'all go through life trauma bonding and act like trauma bond's a gift. And so you're trying to fix people that don't want to be fixed, breaking yourself. Listen, I've been in a relationship with somebody that did not deserve me. The enemy will literally use people to stop you from your destiny, and that's the quickest way he does that. Even your parents. If your parents were not comfortable in your gift, maybe they never got the deserving gift or accolades that you get. And then you don't understand why they can't praise you or congratulate you. And every time you go somewhere and get a reward, they tell you how it ain't good. It's because they never got it. And so we go through life getting stuck in these places and get an identity crisis off of someone that is not meaning any harm. So you can have people that meant harm, and then you can have people that didn't mean harm. But it is your job to figure it out so that you don't allow it to get you stuck in a season and allow a season to define your lifetime. Because life has a way of teaching you some lessons that you weren't going to learn unless you went through it. You remember when you used to be nice? You remember when you used to be nice? Everybody liked you. Now everywhere you go, you think everybody's after something. Why they being nice to me? What do they want from me? It's all a ploy from the enemy because God uses relationships. One will put 1,000 to flight, two will put 10,000 to flight. You were never created to do life alone. God always uses relationships. He brings someone in your life to elevate you to another level. He always uses relationships. He will send someone in your life to take you where he needs you to go. But if you already, I ain't got no friends, because you ain't no friend. Why? Because someone you trusted in your life as a mother or a father or a spouse broke you in a way that now you have dumbed yourself down, and I'm using that in a very kind way. That now you have put barriers and walls up in your life. And it is a law of draw. You will find yourself listening to these people that are the ones that are feeding into your identity crisis. You ever notice how hard it is to break away from somebody that is poison? Poison. They're kryptonite. You still stalking them on Facebook. Now there's someone else's victim. Because they only move victims. But because you were so addicted to this, because it was at least attention. At least they were feeding into something in me instead of me feeling invisible. I want to go to Ruth 1. Say Ruth 1. When I was in kindergarten, I was diagnosed special ed. How in the world in kindergarten can they tell me that I have a learning disability problem? But because the enemy knew that I was going to write all these books that when I died, they're going to still be alive and was going to set people free, the enemy wanted me to feel stupid so that I would never write books. So he labeled me in school from teachers that did a test on me in kindergarten that said I was special ed. I was slow. It followed me all the way through my school years. I realized that about 8 years old, my parents were pastors, and we'd go eat at Shoney's Big Boy every Sunday night. And I would take this little silk pink jewelry bag, and I would stuff it full of suckers. And I would take those suckers to school on Monday and sell them for 25 cents each. I banked. And I quickly started realizing, because there was an anointing on my life, that what the devil meant for evil, God, I'm going to shift this thing. So I quickly started realizing I might not be the smartest tool in the tool shed, but I'm brilliant in making it street smarts. So somewhere in my life, I started realizing that I could make it in street smarts even if I couldn't make it in education. But somewhere in my life, I had a meeting up of special ed and street smarts where the enemy began to tell me through spouses, you ain't all that. People don't like you. They only in this relationship because of me. You can't preach. Nobody likes you. You ain't all that. You're dumb. Did you realize you spelled that name wrong? Did you realize you put the wrong comma there? And because these voices were the closest things in my life, I dumbed myself down. But one of them was wrong. Because one of them told me one night, one day you're going to figure it out. And when you figure it out, you're going to succeed so big that you're going to be on billboards. And I got a feeling I'm not going to be in the picture. He knew something that I didn't know. But the enemy, because the truth ain't in the enemy. The devil is a lie. he set me up to that moment. I started thinking street smarts. Oh, he sees something in me that I ain't seeing in myself. I'm going to be on billboards one day. So what did I do? I got a little Popeye spinach in me at that moment, and I started realizing greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I had an identity crisis, and I flipped the switch. So there comes times in our lives where we literally find ourselves stuck, but then God will give us little moments of grace where we'll get up one more time and we'll pull ourselves up one more. It may not get perfect all at once, but it's those glimpses into our future that will hold us steady, slow and steady. Let's look at Ruth. I'm going to go from chapter 1, 19. Let's read. So the two of them continued on their journey. When they came to Bethlehem, the entire town was excited by their arrival. Is it really Naomi? The women asked. Don't call me Naomi. Remember when she used to be nice? She had to have been nice. Because why would they have asked? It looks like Naomi, but it don't sound like Naomi. Don't call me Naomi, she responded. Instead, call me Mara, for the Almighty has made life very bitter for me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me home. What I thought my life was going to look like, my life doesn't look like that. And so because I had an idea of what I thought my life was going to look like, now that my life doesn't look like this, now my insides are doing a work on the inside of me, and I find myself so bitter that I have changed my name from Kim to Kim. I have changed my name from Naomi to Mara. I've gone from Naomi, which meant joy, to Mara, which means bitter. Because if God can't even do a work for me, then who am I to get myself out of this place? I would rather sit in this place of brokenness because I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has caused me to suffer and the Almighty has sent such tragedy upon me? First thing we see here in this text is she went through conflict, which caused her to have an identity crisis. Conflict is a prolonged stint of struggle. As I was studying this sermon, this morning I'm digging because I get my notes together on Sunday morning. I pull it all together. I've all week kind of surfed the story that I feel God's laid on my heart. And then Sunday I start putting it all together and meshing it together. And I was like, I wonder how Naomi got to this place. And as I was looking, it appears that she was created to be a mom. Proverbs 31. Her main goal in life was to be an incredible wife. Probably didn't have much of an opinion or asked, babe, what do you think if we move? Instead, she was probably told, we moving, pack the house. So she didn't probably have a voice because I couldn't find it. And her sons were her identity. They end up moving. And after they get moved, her husband, that was her job title, her resume read, his wife dies. Everything that I live for is gone. He never asked me if we wanted to move in the first place. So he moves me from what I'm comfortable. Now we're here, and now he's going to die on me. So now I'm mad at him for dying, and I'm mad at God because he let him die. And all I got left is my two sons. 10 years later, her two sons die. I don't know about you, but I've been at a place where I rolled down my door at my house like a movie, where my hair is flying down the door and I'm just dripping down the door like ugly crying. The joints in my fingers are aching because of the pain that I'm enduring from heartbreak. That is probably what Naomi was feeling at this moment when she changed her name to Mara. She was saying, I don't even want to live. I have an identity crisis, and I don't even know what I want to be called anymore. Because nobody is fighting for me now, and I have no reason to live. When we hold on to conflict, and we hold on to tough pains in life, mommy issues, daddy issues, spouse issues, betrayal, and we live for a validation of someone that was never on our level anyway. Sometimes you got to let people go back to what they are used to. You were already on another level, baby. Instead of trying to give CPR to dead situations, you got to go, let it go, let it go. You got to get you some suckers and put them in your bag. And you got to go to school, and you got to put a price tag on yourself, and not just put a price tag on yourself. You got to add some sales tax. See, when we hold on to tough issues and pains in life, we start wearing it. You walk into a room and you're wearing it. People start saying, who are you? What happened to the joy? You done been grieving over your husband that died for years. Now you lost. You want to die too? I just wish God would take me home. He ain't. He ain't taking you home. You still have legacy. Get over yourself. He walked out. Well, Kim, you're being insensitive. No, I'm not. You have a calling on your life, and it's bigger than what died in your life. It's bigger than your child that died. Kim, you're being insensitive. No, I'm not. You are stuck in an identity crisis and a struggle of something you did in high school. And God is saying, I knew it before you were ever even a thought in your mother's womb. And I am telling you, I've got a destiny on the inside of you that is going to shake the nation. I knew you were going to go through it. I knew that you were going to lay awake at night with anxiety attack. I knew that you were going to struggle with depression. And I said, your destiny is going to meet your purpose. And you're going to change the world. When we hold on to stuff too long, our issues become our identity. Our issues, preach, Kim! Our issues become our identity, and our mess becomes our mindset. Our pain becomes our perspective. That's why you're having identity issues. That's why you were molested as a child. Because the devil knew you had a destiny. That's why you went through a few divorces. That's why you went through some things, and now you're offended at everything. You look for ways to be offended. Everybody gets under your skin. You walk around making your joy someone else's job. I'm addicted because of my daddy. No, you addicted because you keep going and getting the liquor. I'm addicted because my mama didn't protect me. No, you addicted because you don't believe that you're worthy to get up. It happened to you, but it ain't who you are. The world and society has a way of putting a label on you, but God has a way of saying you are redeemed, you are chosen, you are not what you've gone through. Your identity is in me. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives on the inside of you. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. You are not what you've done. You are what you've overcome. You are more than a Get up, get up, get up, get up. Praise your way out of this thing. You ain't dead. Woo. Hey! Sometimes you just got to let out a moan. Hey! Sometimes you just got to let out a roar. Hey! Sometimes you just got to let the devil know, I'm back. I'm back. I was resting, but I'm back. I'm back with more oil. I'm back with more anointing. I'm back with I'm back. God didn't change your name. You changed your name. He still calls you blessed. He still calls you prosperous. He still calls you favored. He still calls you healthy. He still calls you strong. Will you allow your pain to be your prison or your passport? That is tweetable. Will you let your pain be your prison or your passport? My passport is full of stamps. Why? Because of the pain that made me oily. The divorce, the special ed, the betrayal, the lies, the misfortunes, the generational curses, the death of my daddy untimely, the divorce of someone cheating on me. All of this. I wouldn't go back 1 second and take one moment away. Why? Because it made me seek heaven. When I hit rock bottom, I found out who the rock was at the bottom, which was Jesus. And I realized falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus is the best thing I've ever done. I ain't going back. I ain't going back. You hear me, devil? I ain't going back. There ain't nothing in my feelings. Here. There are different types of pain. You ready for this? There's genetic pain, which is inherited. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Inherited. It's stuff your daddy does. You ain't never even been around your daddy. But yet you still fight the demons of your daddy. It's your mama with psychiatric issues. And now you walking around saying, I'm cray-cray and popping pills. No, you ain't. Now, I ain't saying you on pills is a bad thing, but it needs an expiration date. By January the 13th, 2023, these pills will not be in my house. Because I'm going to get to the bottom of whatever it is that's driving me to do these stupid things that do not have control over me. I'm a whole grown up. It's looking at your issue, that thing that is driving you, that addiction that is driving you, and saying, I refuse to go back to the liquor store when I've got a liquor issue. Genetic pain is inherited. Then there's grudge pain. Stuff that you refuse to let go of because of your pride. I ain't letting it go. Everybody needs to be listening to me right now. Because this is freedom. Genetic pain is inherited. Grudge pains is something you hold on to because of your self-righteousness. I refuse to let go of it because of the pain they caused me. So I'm going to walk around with a bee in my pocket and letting the bee sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm going to walk around drinking kryptonite, hoping the other person dies. The person that was not even worth being in my life. So God so wonderfully moved them out of my life. Even though it broke my heart, it saved my soul. Sometimes God will break your spirit to save your soul. And you are holding on to a grudge that saved your soul. Then there's group pain. Group pain is where y'all all sit around together and collaborate on why you deserve to hurt. You're still in the same place you've been for 20 years. Group pain feels good because it shows you that you ain't the only broken one. Then there's giant pain. Giant pain is what makes you do this. I'm double jointed. Figured that out too in special ed. Because I refused to draw snowman. So I'd sit and figure out I was double jointed. That's what happens when you have giant pain. Your fingers start contorting. Don't come at me. I said what I said. Your joints start drawing up because of giant pain you refuse to let go of. Fibroids, cancer, arthritis, dementia. Because there's something in me that hurts so bad that I really don't know how to let it go. I don't even know where to start. That daddy beating the heck out of me because I couldn't quit wetting my bed and made me wet my bed more. That daddy that molested me. That husband that said he'd have my back and cheated on me 1,000,000 times. That daddy that he said he wanted kids with me. And now he won't even pay child support. And he's raising somebody else's kids. That mama that was so doggone dysfunctional. That she laid in her bed every day grieving over my little brother that died. And wasn't there for me and my brothers and sisters, and I had to use my whole childhood and teenage years raising a child because she couldn't get it together. That exit walked out and cheated and still won't leave me alone. Hated me so bad you wanted out of my life and you still won't leave me alone. Giant pain causes depression, makes you feel crazy in your mind, and at night you're laying in your bed with anxiety attacks wreaking havoc in your body, and you feel like your heart is about to pop out of your chest. And now it's so heavy you cannot let it go. You don't even know how to start. forgive yourself for the abortion you had in high school because you were scared to death to tell your mama. And now God's got a call of God on your life and you can't even use it because you're still back there. Now you've taken yourself off the couture rack and put yourself on the clearance rack. And now you're mean. This is me. Take it or leave it. And everybody is leaving it. Because you won't leave the pain. And now you have an identity crisis. But I came into Limitless today. I came online today. You may be watching this 12 years from now. It is just for you. God is saying, awaken. They walked out on you, but I walked in on you. The call of God on your life is bigger than your giant pain. It's bigger than the group pain. It's bigger than the grudge pain. It's bigger than the genetic pain. It's better than the growing pain. The growing pain comes because of all of these other pains you refuse to handle. I put on a wig a few weeks ago because I can. I'm 50. And I started looking at all the comments and people were like, girl, you're so beautiful. And my head started playing tricks on me. So I wasn't beautiful the other way. And I heard the Lord say, this is where identity crisis comes in. You don't wear the wig because you hated yourself with short hair. You wore the wig because you can. But because I wore the wig, now the identity crisis is trying to creep up on you, on me, because there was something in me that I did not deal with. So what was meant for fun is now getting twisted. Because I didn't deal with it over here. And instead of me running from it like I used to run from it, now I go sit in it. I put the wig on its stand for a few weeks. And I get intentional about why did I let that happen? And I began to pray, God, show me the areas on the inside of me that are making me Mara. Because if I don't learn who I am, I will change in every atmosphere that He's taken me into. You cannot sell yourself. When God begins to open doors in your life, you cannot begin to sell yourself. Remember, they fell in love with who you are. Now, stop changing yourself for who you need to be because you're trying to fix up. You're not broken anymore. Church folk has done a terrible job at teaching us how to shout over our darkness. The louder I shout, the louder I dance, the louder I fake it. The thing I love about Naomi is she was honest with herself. But see, that makes church people uncomfortable. Why is she crying like that? Because she hurt. Why? My son said something so anointed a while ago in the office. He had a friend that took his life. And he said, you know what? We always walk around and say things like, if they talk about it, they won't do it. He said, but what I discovered is the ones that talk about it that do it. But society has a way of filtering things so that we act like, oh, they just want attention. How about we get to a point where we heal in such a way that we can identify with other people, so that we don't have to walk around with identity crisis and think that everybody that cries wolf is crying. They may just need you. Can't we make this house a hospital? We can literally let people fall apart in here and it be okay. Now if someone cries too loud in church, it makes us uncomfortable and we want to go tell them, shh. We don't even have tissue laying around the church now because, oh, you know. We very rarely have altar calls. And we're all walking around with fake wigs, fake hair, toupees that look like ants are on top of your head. Spanx. Filters. We done took our noses away off our faces with these filters. Where's your nose? Walking around putting our highlight reels up, and we've lost who God created us to be. What is hurting you because of you? What are you going to do about it? You're not even mad anymore. You can't even remember the details. You just know how it made you feel because you can't let go of your pride. You stuck. What are you going to do about this identity crisis? The most beautiful gift I ever gave myself was falling in love with Kim. I love me some me. I love my quirkiness. I love how I'll be walking down the airport and just out of the blue be like, I love how I'll be in my house by myself and just start dancing. I love how I can jerk myself out of a bad mood. I love me. I love how great of a pastor I've become. I love that I'm a great friend. I love that what you see is what you get. I love that I don't get offended at nothing. I love that when people leave my church, I'm like, you want to go to lunch next week? I love that I will sit by the hater that I know is talking about me. I love that I can sit with Judases and be like, I know you just hurting. I love it because I spent a whole lot of my life being mad at stuff and running from stuff that wasn't even chasing me. You prayed for God to get rid of distractions and you broke up. God, get rid of the toxic situation in my life, and y'all broke up. Now you're mad. You prayed, God, give me peace, and He gave you a problem. Sometimes the blessing is in what God took away from you. Pain changes you. But it can also change you to be the best you on the planet. Do you know what a scar is? A scar is proof you made it through. When my son's appendix erupted, y'all know Lincoln, he's beautiful. His appendix ruptured, and they were going to go in and they were going to put a little dot. That was it. But when they got in there, that thing had ruptured so bad that they were in an emergency to save his life, and they cut him from here to here. And he woke up and was devastated that he had this scar. He was a model. That was what he got paid to do. And he said, one moment has shifted my trajectory. And I watched that boy lay in that hospital bed for 5 days and quit fighting because of a scar that saved his life. And I raised both of my boys this way. Have a meltdown, then we're going to get up. It's okay to cry. 7 days is the limit. He pushed it to 6. Because there's no reason to cry over this. It's not going nowhere. Get up. Finally, on day 6, he said, well, I guess I'll go get me a tattoo of a zipper. And he got up and never looked back. But here's the beautiful thing about that scar. You can't even hardly see it now. Because God created bodies, minds, and souls and hearts to heal. The most beautiful light shines through the scar. I've been a Naomi. I'd be holding on to mess. I preached my life more times than I can remember. I'd be holding on to grudges. I'll call Val and vent for an hour. You got to have you a person that'll eventually be like, all right, you done? We moving on now? Because I don't get 7 days, I get an hour. When you hold on to pain, it changes the way you see yourself. You don't feel like you deserve better. Pain caused Naomi to change her name and lose sight of her potential. Holding on to pain the way you see others looks differently. Here's the beautiful part of this story. You ready for this? If Naomi's son would have lived, Ruth would have stayed his wife. Then she would have never met Boaz. Ruth would have never given birth to Obed, who became the father of Jesse, who is the father of David, who from that lineage, we get Jesus. If I would have never walked through my divorce, you would have never got past Kim. If I would have never walked through that betrayal, you would have never got beautifully broken, is where God does his best work. Stand on your feet and give God a praise for that thing that you thought you weren't going to be able to make it through. I dare you right now to flip the script. You thought when the curtain closed, the production was over, but I hear the Lord saying, I had to close the curtain in order to set up for the next scene. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. There was purpose in your pain. Hurt people hurt people. But heal people, heal people. If he wouldn't have cheated on you, God couldn't have brought you that man that chases you around the house now. He didn't even want to touch you. If you wouldn't have lost that baby, you wouldn't have been having a whole ministry talking to women with infertility. If you wouldn't have struggled with addiction, wouldn't nobody be listening to you about getting free? If you wouldn't have had that daddy issue, you wouldn't have been a great spiritual father. If you used to not be messy as all get out, you could not identify with broken people. Now when you see a loudmouth, chunky butt, you like, girl, I used to be you. Come sit on my lap. Everybody lift up your hands. Father, forgive me for losing myself. Through the world's eyes, through parents' eyes, through love interest eyes. Forgive me for needing validation from people other than you. Father, I give you permission to heal me from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. Heal my heart. Heal my mind. Give me spiritual amnesia from things that broke me. Thank you, Lord, for do-overs. God, I give you permission to show all the way out. In the next 3 months, I refuse to walk in to 2023 with an identity crisis. I'm falling in love with me. I'm falling in love with me. Say, self, I love you.